Yes, I have a new haircut. Yeah, I changed it. I wanted to look, it's sort of my World War II look. Yeah. Listen, I have a new book. I just had a book party yesterday at Rizzoli in New York for my new novel, Love in the Loire. Please buy it. And you should also buy How to Be Gay in the 21st Century if you haven't. Those are my two most recent books. Today, I'm going to talk to you about something that I don't ordinarily ever talk about. And it's kind of unusual for me. I'm not an expert in any way. But I kind of want to talk to you about the news, because there's a lot been going on lately that's kind of disjointing and disturbing, and I just wanted to give you my take on it. You know, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, the big French guy that was about to be president of France, probably in the next election, who attacked the maid in his hotel in New York and then tried to get away on an Air France flight. Here's my take on it. You know, when nobody ever brings up, I mean, everybody, what a sexy guy, he's attacking all these women have had to fight him off. He is not very young. You know, they never point out that maybe as he's approaching 70, having an erection might be quite a surprise for him. You know, there are two rules, you know. They say when you're approaching 70, never waste an erection and never trust a fart. Those are the two big rules. Well, I think maybe Mr. Dominique Strauss-Kahn, you know, he's coming out of the shower, there is a good-looking woman and he has an erection. I think he just went crazy. I don't think that he's such a sex, you know, and those guys, what they really want to do, they are trying to impress men with how sexy they are. It's not that they're so crazy about women. It's all about making sure men know that they are crazy about women. He probably had not had an erection for quite a while. When he came out of the shower, he had one, and suddenly she's there, and wow. Hey, that's, I think, is behind that story, and nobody brings that up at all. How about Arnold Schwarzenegger? You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, really, let's face it, he's just this German guy who was a bodybuilder. You know, this is not some sophisticated guy. This is a guy who just, you know, frankly, will probably stick it pretty well anywhere. And you know, he began being, you know, he was a protege for a very wealthy gay guy in Spain. He lived with him as he was beginning his career as a bodybuilder. I have pictures in magazines of him at that time, frolicking about, pretty much nude, on the terrace of his, I don't know, friend's apartment in Spain. You know, there's a lot going on here that the press isn't dealing with at all. And thirdly, Mr. John Edwards, you know, the presidential candidate, lost out because this lady that was kind of doing video on him, she had a baby by him. You know my take on this? I think he would rather have lost out as a presidential candidate, because with this scandal, no one would ever think he's gay. You know? I think there's something pretty gayish about Mr. Edwards, and I think he would rather have this scandal stamped firmly upon his history so that no one will ever think he's gay. That's my take. Anyway, positively, listen, I just clipped this out of one of last week's Times things. This is about, you know, American women, League of Women Voters. I love this. You know, I'm saying this is the century for women that kind of take their place as equals to men. The League of Women Voters have just been kind of a nice organization. They give tea parties and encourage you to do this and that. They are running some very, very strong advertising, telling the public that there is a Democratic senator, a woman, Republican senator who have not signed, who do not wish to protect the environment. They have signed a bill that would let protection of the environment just go down the drain. And they are running big, big advertising. Do not vote for these people. Well, I think that's what women should be doing. You know, I'm a big backer for women in this century.